All right, we're back with a new episode of Real in the Field, and today we have on special guest Sean Henry.
That's right. We talked to Sean about his love for sports and his specific teams. Then we're going to talk about his band, Power Serge.
Yeah, Power Serge is a cover band. They're going to be playing the Orange International Street Fair. They'll be on Saturday, September 2nd. The whole street fair is going to be on all weekend, starting from the 1st, ending on the 3rd. So go out and check them out and sit back and enjoy the episode. If you like what you hear, like and subscribe and enjoy the show. All right, we are back with a new episode of Real in the Field, and today, special guest, Sean Henry, the Western Sales Director for First American, the lead singer for Power Serge, and the unofficial mayor of the city of Orange.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks. It's really exciting to be here. I'm honored that you both asked me to do this. And
absolutely.
Let me cut you off. Before I say anything, I want to tell you, Tony, you are doing wonderful things in your real estate world. I see people do this and jump into this, and they fizzle out after a couple months and a lot of time. And then there's some people that are successful that stay in it, but you are really putting a lot of effort into it, and it shows. And this kind of stuff is awesome. And then the stuff that you've done with your brother at El Medina.
Building up the program.
Unbelievable. So I want to tell you both, I mean, you're doing great things for the community. You're doing great things for our peers and for just the human race. So thank you for asking me to be on this, and I wanted to get that out of the way first and say you're both doing awesome things.
That's super flattering, and thank you, especially coming from you, who like I said, you are the unofficial mayor of Orange. You are
just a loud guy, that's all.
Well, your voice is heard, and definitely appreciate that. That's really flattering, so thank you. We've been friends going back for some years now. I think our relationship kind of started in the sports kind of world. Meeting at like football games and going to Rams games together. But where does your love for sports come from? I mean, it's obvious that you've got a love for it. Where did that come from?
Yeah, mine's just true love for sports, because all the athletic genes went to my sister, which we can talk about later. But really, it stemmed from my parents. It came from my parents. I'm the firstborn of three, right? I'm the oldest, and I mean, every day, and this is before cable television. I mean, every day, I would say on the weekends at least, or on the weeknights, there was a game on. There was always a game on, and my parents took me to everything. My first football game was probably the SC UCLA game at the Coliseum in 1978. So I was probably about 4 months old, and my mom and dad brought me to that. So it's always been around. It's always been a huge part of our lives. My mom, it's the same thing with my mom. My dad's very athletic too, a heck of a golfer, great basketball shot. My mom's psycho athlete.
Really?
But yeah, sports has always been around. Yeah, it's just kind of been our thing with our family. Season tickets for lots of things. I mean, mostly UCLA football and basketball, and the Rams twice, Anaheim and again now. But
I feel like that's when I see pictures of you, your family, I've been at games with you and your family. That is it's such a core for all of you. I remember seeing your dad at your sister's softball games. And he was at every single game. I feel like he was at practices.
In high school?
In high school.
Yeah, in high school. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Going crazy.
Going nuts.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, he actually had to be reeled in a little bit there during the games at one point, because it was distracting for the center fielder when my sister, when my dad was going so nuts. But he's just a great dad. I have great parents, great mom, great dad, a lot of support. They never missed any of our games. We all had games growing up, and they somehow juggled, which I'm now finding is crazy they did with three kids. But just a lot of support from them. And you're right, my dad, insane.
Did you know that Sean's mom was my teacher?
I didn't know that.
Really?
Yes.
At Levita or at San Diego?
At Levita and at San Diego.
Look at you. Lucky
Whoa,
you.
Look at that.
Right.
She's a heck of an educator.
Best teacher I ever had.
Are you just saying that?
No, I swear, dude.
Mary's going to be so happy.
Dude, she was the greatest, the nicest dude. She took care of me. She was
She's
sweet.
so sweet.
Yeah.
And makes amazing enchiladas, by the way.
She does.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal.
She's, she makes great food. And you're right. We've known each other for a while through sports, and we probably knew each other before we knew each other. I remember you from when you were in first grade. You've always been around.
Same beard. Yeah.
Same beard. Yep. Came out with the beard. But yeah, it's really neat. It's just been like y'all. It's just been
around.
Part. Yeah, it's always been around.
All right. So speaking of being a kid and it started, do you have a favorite sports memory when you were a little guy?
So like for me playing or anything?
Either, anything that just comes to mind.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't the best athlete in the family, but I played a lot of club soccer. I remember one year, Rob Skinner, who ended up being my high school coach at El Medina, we went really far when I was like in 4th or 5th grade with my tiny club team, OSC, which is bigger now, but they were tiny. Back then there was the Pateadoras and Juventus and all these big, huge San Diego Surf and these big, huge programs. We were this tiny program that went really far, and I was like I was a forward on that team, and we won State Cup, which was a really big deal. And that was my biggest memory as a kid. And then the biggest memory that I wasn't a part of that I can remember is just the Lakers winning so much. Because I'm 45. And then my mom was at Kirk Gibson's home run in game 1 of the World Series.
Oh, no way.
She went with our neighbor, Susan Brzezinski, whose husband at the time played for the Dolphins. And we were all watching that at my parents' house, the kids and my dad, and my mom never leaves a game early. It's the number 1 rule of my mom. Never, ever, ever leave a game early. And I won't. You've been to games with me. I do not leave games early. Doesn't matter how big of a blowout it is either way. And she was at that game. So I think that's my biggest memory as a kid when I wasn't a part of it, was cheering for my mom. And I wasn't even a Dodger fan. I was mostly a Cub fan at that point. But that's my memory, is seeing how happy my mom was when she got home late at night. I think we stayed up to give her high fives. Yeah,
that's really cool.
That's kind of speaks to like the family, just how rooted everyone is in sports. Even your mom is like has that sports connection with you. It's so cool. What about just like I think we touched on it, but just to ask the question about your favorite memory in sports all time. Is there something that sticks out?
Gosh, all time has to be the Cubs winning the World Series in 2016. I mean, I've been a Cub fan. I think we figured it out since I was like 4. But he told me around when I was like 9 or 10. He said to me, he goes, I got it by them. I understood that they haven't won in a really long time.
Yeah, they were cursed.
Yeah, they were cursed. They were
kind of like the Angels.
They kind of are cursed. But my dad promised me that if they ever went to the World Series, he would take me, and he made good at that promise. And we were there together in Chicago, and
that's amazing.
When they won it, and that was, we didn't go to Cleveland.
How many games
when they
did you go to?
I went to 2. I went to games 4 and 5. Both in the bleachers. It was incredible. The Cubs lost game 4. They went down 3-1, and then they won game 5 with their backs against the wall, and they destroyed them in game 6 in Cleveland. And then my dad and I stayed in Chicago for 6 and 7 and watched the whole thing in Wrigleyville, and we were just a stone's throw away from Wrigley Field. So pretty cool. That's my best. I think that's my number 1 sports memory of all time. Pretty close second would probably be the Lakers 2010 beating the Celtics. That was pretty neat because I was an adult. Well, I guess I was an adult in 2016 too. But that was a good fit. That was the first really good sports feeling in a long time. Oh, and the Kings playoff. The Kings runs the Cups in 12 and 14.
You've got a good
run. I'm surprised you didn't mention the Rams Super Bowl either.
That was awesome. But it's new. It's still fresh. I think. You know what I mean?
UCLA beating SC, like.
Well, that doesn't happen too often. I try not to get my head too big whenever UCLA beats USC.
I was at the rain game at the Rose Bowl when they knocked out Matt Barkley.
2012. Anthony Barr. Off the edge, best hit of all time.
That guy is unreal.
I was there too in the rain game.
Was there. Yes.
Yeah, it was great. We never left. We didn't leave. And we had an RV. We have an RV that we take to the games, and we had probably 40 people there. That's another really really good one.
You're welcome.
Thank you. God, that was a great day, man.
Well, speaking of football, and you have kids now, you have sons.
Sure.
Are you gonna let them play? If they wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, so right now Jack actually loves to play. He says that I got to get this right. I think he's Matthew Stafford and I'm Cooper Kupp, and he wants to throw me the ball. He loves watching it. He loves watching football. The question on if I'm going to let him play, I mean, it's up to, I think, both my wife and I would assume that, we'll let him play. I think the game will change. I think there was legitimate concern.
Yeah.
I mean, when you all played, even those helmets had to be way too heavy. And
no,
I don't know if there was. Or were they better?
Don't get me started on this.
I don't know.
I think, okay, so here's my theory. Because in high school and even growing up, we had those heavy, old school.
Rydell.
Right? And I felt like I never had anything wrong with my head. Like
Because of
whatsoever.
those?
Because of those.
Right.
As I went on in my career, went to college, they came out these cool
the light
dude, things everywhere,
Yeah,
all this
yeah.
stuff. And dude, I was getting dinged up all the time. And I think why guys get messed up now is because everything is so light.
Yeah,
There's no-
everything's so light.
There's no, you know what I mean? There's no sturdiness.
Yeah.
to,
There's
like,
no
anything.
neck. There's no neck guards and
Yeah,
no,
where'd all the neck rolls and the
neck
giant
rolls.
pads go?
Right. I mean, as long as it's safe, and what I'd probably ask you if by the time, because we're years away from that happening. But he loves the game. He loves the sport. I'd love to get him into a youth program if he wants to do it. But yeah, I don't know. It's still too early, I guess, to be seen. Because there was a while where I was like, of course, because I never got to play. One, I was too small, but I could have been the kicker at El Medina.
Yeah.
I definitely could have been the kicker. Yeah, I hope they do if they're interested in it. I know but Jack loves soccer.
Yeah.
So I think that's for sure. He loves baseball. I mean, he loves sports. And
do you feel like you are going to have that like same like connection with sports as you have with your father and your dad and mom and siblings?
I'm trying so hard to not push it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm trying so hard to let it happen organically.
Right.
But man, I hope so, because it's such a great feeling. It's such a neat camaraderie to share with family members and but yeah, I hope he wants to play. It'd be fun. I mean, I will be that dad. I will be my dad. I'll be my dad.
You'll be getting a talking to about toning it down on the sideline there.
Your dad.
I'll just turn my headset and be like, "Hey, can you
what's going on?
Can you just stop
so
for a
loud."
second?
Your dad coached my brother in
gosh.
Little League, I think, at South Sunrise.
Probably. That dude was there
he was there forever,
30
right?
years.
Yeah, so I think my brother was on the Indians with him. And
Yeah.
my brother was this. We were all short. We're all tiny, right? All the Henrys are tiny. Not anymore, but height-wise and stature-wise. But Rory was this small third baseman that just gobbled everything up. And he went to the majors early, and your dad was his coach at one point, and he was.
I'm sure he was
baseball player.
super nice to him.
I know. Yeah,
That dude was such a hard.
He was. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he wasn't scary at all. Yeah,
not the least bit.
So I mean, in that, and those are all your teams. Those are we've kind of gone over. You know, you're a Cubs fan, you're a Rams fan, you're a Lakers fan, you're a Kings fan. You have your teams.
UCLA.
Yeah. Let's talk UCLA.
Okay. So UCLA SC leaving the Pac 10, 12.
Four.
Right. Yeah.
Pac
now
4.
it's down to nothing.
Yeah.
They fell apart.
Man.
They're headed to the Big 10.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about it?
Great. I couldn't be happier.
So they play Michigan and Ohio State.
People freak out.
The first year, right?
Absolutely. People go look at UCLA's record in football against the Big Ten schools. You'd be pretty surprised, I think.
Okay.
And you can take out Illinois, you can take out Indiana. No offense to Illinois and Indiana and Rutgers, but UCLA fares pretty well against Big Ten programs historically. You know, we've been in I can say we because I went to UCLA. I would never say it against professional teams. But I think you'd be really surprised on how well UCLA does against some of those Big Ten teams historically. And I think we're in a place where and kudos, this is the first time I ever said this, kudos to USC for joining UCLA and figuring out to get ahead of the curve and beat these other schools with a punch and saying like, no, we got to do this. If we don't do this, we're not going to survive.
Yeah. So the story that I've read and heard, because just from college coaches coming by our school, and just gathering info here, reading an article here. So when Oklahoma and Texas left, okay, and they're going to the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
So the Longhorn Network got gobbled up by ESPN.
Yeah.
So Fox runs the Big Ten Network, and so they kind of are only on the Midwest, East Coast type stuff.
Yeah.
And they said we need to make a splash, and we need to compete. We need to go to the West Coast. Who can we find? The first two schools they went to were UCLA and SC, and said we will offer you guys so much money if you come.
Really?
And they said, all right.
Yeah,
and then boom, and the first domino fell. So it was Fox who actually.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing.
Yeah.
It's $70 million a year is the ballpark of what it's going to be, and that is a lot more than UCLA was ever or SC was making in the Pac-12.
It's like what we talked about. We've said it on this podcast before. It's a lot of times we like to take away the business aspect of it, but in the end, this is what it is.
Yeah,
it's a business. And like the
For
purist side of us doesn't want to like, like kind of navigate that side or even just kind of think about it, but it's a business, and it's a business decision to move and get that $70 million a year. It's a lot of money.
I mean, it's great because UCLA does have the existing infrastructure. They already have the football center, the basketball center. They've done a lot of the things that other schools would do with this money. Now it can go straight to the athletes. Not straight to the athletes, can't do pay for play, but travel, worries about travel, sleep studies, food, right?
Yes, the envelope underneath the door.
The bag man, right? But NIL is really interesting, but I'm just excited. I'm excited for both SC and UCLA. I'm so excited for these roadies. Like, are you kidding me? I get to go to the Horseshoe. I get to go to the Big House. And get to go to Champaign, Indiana. Purdue, I'm really excited for UCLA at Purdue. These are all going to be really fun games, and they're going to be great crowds out here.
Those schools travel well. They're diehards.
So I'm excited, man. I mean, a lot of people. My father-in-law, shout out to Paul. He's really upset about it, but he's a purist, and I should say I was a purist, but I also realized. It's better than what Stanford and Cal are going through right now, and Stanford's self-inflicted. They're deciding to not play the NIL game, and they're basically. I mean, they might disband their all their sports programs, which is awful. So I'm proud of UCLA and SC for getting out in front of it.
I feel bad for someone, the Missouri coach, Durkowitz, or I forget how you say his name properly, but. He just pretty much brought up football is going to be fine. We have plenty of resources.
Right.
But what about the track team?
Yeah.
What about the
lacrosse,
Olympic sport, the Olympic sports.
Yeah. What about
shot put?
the so-and-so? They don't have that. And you're asking them to travel from the East Coast to the West Coast and, or baseball. You go and play 3 games on the West Coast, right?
Yeah.
You're, away stand. And then you got to fly back. You got to do your homework. You got to do it. He's like, did we even ask these kids?
Yeah, I think it's gonna get figured out. I think they're going to have that commitment to the Big Ten in the beginning. I've asked my sister about this. My sister's still the go-to person for women's fast pitch softball, D1 softball. That's her name of her company, D1 softball.
Yeah,
and she said, her and I have these conversations off the record, so I don't want to put any words in Tara's mouth. But they'll start at the Big Ten. But there's a possibility down the road of creating like an MPSF sort of situation where water polo and volleyball they play that Mountain Pacific Federation area for the Olympic sports. I think softball and baseball will be okay. They'll figure out the scheduling. Somehow, but I am worried about some of those other sports.
Well, eventually it's just going to be super conferences.
Yeah, conferences.
It's going to be like the big guys on the block are going to be like, hey, you, and you, let's all do it.
Yeah.
And they're going to be, all right.
And what is it going to do to for recruitment too? You think some big player is going to want to go to a school that doesn't have a program to offer them?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess in short, it comes down to that. But the other team that you have, the Cubs.
Oh, Chicago Cubs.
Chicago Cubs.
Yes.
Question number 1 on that. Why the Cubs?
Why not the Angels or the Doyers?
Why not the Doyers? Everybody's. I get this question.
I think I know the answer. I told you what I thought the answer was.
Well, I want to ask you, what do you think it is? My answer is
Well, hold on.
It's been the same for.
My answer.
I know. I want you to say
35 years. I've said it, so I know it's a canned response. I had to say it 50,000 times in Chicago in 2016.
Let's hear it.
So here's what I think it is.
Yeah.
When we would come home from school all the time, WGN would have Cubs games on.
So can I take you everywhere with me so I don't have to say, because that's exactly
that is.
Dang, I knew it, dude. I knew it.
So, but here's the thing: is I'm a little, spoiler alert, I'm a little older than you two. It's funny, you all are what 7 years younger than me, but somehow I have the youngest kid. But whatever. But back when I was in elementary school, and this is 82, 83, 84 is when I really remember it. They were on every day. And my parents had cable. It was them and the Braves. Yeah. But they were on
the Braves.
But here's the difference: is the Cubs were on during the day when you get home from school, and then all summer when you didn't have school. The Braves were on at 4 o'clock because their games were at 7 o'clock Eastern. The Cubs every day at 1:20 because they didn't have lights.
Yes.
Until August 8th, 1988, which actually was August 9th, 1988, because there was a rainout the day they were supposed to have lights for the first time. Yeah. So they didn't have lights for until I was 10 years old. So yeah, that is absolutely the answer. I watched them every day. My mom and my sister are insane Dodger fans.
So then that's
what it is.
That never rubbed off on you. Your mom didn't try and get you
she did.
to come over to the dark side.
And like if you look at my my T-ball card, and
your T-ball card.
You remember those?
Yes,
the little stick ones with like your number, your height and weight, and I was like 3 feet tall, 38 pounds.
Yes, dude.
But
hat's too big.
Yes, But it was funny. You'd think that my favorite player would be like Ryan Sandberg or one of the Cubs, but my favorite player, and it was my favorite number too, was Steve Sachs. I was obsessed with Steve Sachs because my mom loves Steve. My mom loves Steve Garvey. Still loves Steve Garvey. But Steve Sachs was kind of my guy, infielder that middle infielder that stole bases, and that was kind of my favorite player. So my mom, it did rub off on me, and I still love. I love going to Dodger Stadium. I have season tickets to the Angels. I like the Angels. I've come a long way. I didn't like them for a while, and I've really turned the corner. And
just in time for them to suck for the last decade.
I mean, I think hopefully they'll turn things around here, and Artie's gotta.
There's a little glimpse. There's a little hope that he was going to sell last year. We heard some rumblings of it.
It was close.
Didn't happen.
But that's why it was WGN. Every day at 11:20.
Favorite Cubby of all time.
All time?
Or give me 3. Give me.
Gosh, it's tough. So Ryan Sandberg. I mean, I have a story about Ernie Banks that could take up 3 podcasts. When I was a kid, Ryan Sandberg and Andre Dawson, Greg Maddux in the 90s, and then Mark Grace. Mark Grace, of course, Sosa
and his juiced up.
Sean Dunston, because we had the same name. And then in the 2000s, I really loved Alfonso Soriano. He was one of, and I would talk. We had these seats from a family friend, my dad's client, but also a family friend, where they were right at the Dugout Club at Dodger Stadium. And I actually became friends with Alfonso Soriano. I just talked to him every time I was there every year, and he just expected to see me, and he would always say hi to me, and it was really cool. And then later on, I just fell in love with Anthony Rizzo and Chris Bryant and Kyle Schwarber. My favorite, this is so weird to everybody, nobody gets this, but Jason Hayward. I truly think the Cubs don't win the World Series without Jason Hayward making that speech during the rain delay in Game 7 in Cleveland. And now my son and I are just really enjoying that middle infield of Dansby Swanson and Nico Horner. My son's favorite player is Nico Horner.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's just like, the Cubs are on Nico, Dada, Nico. And he runs around our kitchen island and says he's Nico Horner, and it's just fun. It's fun to share that with him. So
no Mark Grace?
No, I said Mark Grace in there. He was there in the 90s.
What about
I said Sammy Sosa.
Kerry Wood.
I love Kerry Wood.
Kerry Wood came
I
out.
have a signed, one of my buddies that played with him in Cleveland got me a signed jersey. Hector Ambrose, thank you very much for that. But Kerry Wood with his performances over the years, and ended his career as the closer of the Cubs, coming back to him. So there's too many. I love them all. Like
embarrassment of riches over there.
Really. Yeah, but they didn't win for a long time. It's fun to be a fan of that team. I'll tell you that. There's nothing like a Friday afternoon game at Wrigley Field. There's nothing like it in the world. I will go to my grave saying it's the best sporting event on the planet. Is a Friday afternoon at Wrigley Field in the summer. You don't want to go in late September. You don't want to go in opening day. It's freezing. Just if you can get there in June or July.
Yeah. When you taking Jack, you're gonna do do a trip?
Oh yeah. As soon as possible. As soon as we can figure it out, and we'll go probably 3 days in a row, and we'll do bleachers. Then we'll sit in some nice seats and probably back out in the bleachers.
That's really cool.
Yeah. All right, last team here, the Los Angeles Rams.
Gosh, the Los Angeles Rams.
I mean, not as much history. When you kind of compare this team to some of the your beginnings watching WGN, watching the Cubs play, the Lakers,
right.
It's a little bit newer. It's although
it's not though.
Well,
it's actually they're probably my first team I was ever a fan of.
Did you go to Anaheim Stadium and watch them?
I went to the Coliseum to watch them before Anaheim Stadium.
Oh, okay.
So I was, and then with Anaheim Stadium, I had 2 Rams that lived on my street. I thought everybody had 2 Rams. Yeah. Jackie Slater and Bob Brzezinski, and then we're friends with Vince Ferragamo and Rich Saul, rest in peace. Like, they're all family friends of ours. And I just thought every kid, I'm in kindergarten.
Everybody has their Rams.
Everybody has friends on NFL teams. And they're all still great friends of ours, and we love them. And I'm lucky enough to, Annie and Jackie are so good to my family and my kids, my boys. And Jackie and I text about Annie and I text about the Rams.
Really?
So yeah, I've been a fan of them probably the longest out of all of them. And then when they left, it was such a bummer. I was a junior in high school, and God, it was such a bummer. And I held on for a while, but I just didn't like that they didn't acknowledge. When they went to St. Louis, Georgia decided not to acknowledge any of the records or anything in LA. They're like, we're our own thing. Uni change killed me, right after the Super Bowl year, that year of the greatest show on turf. Or they were still going, but man, when they were coming back, I was like, oh God. I'm all in. Like, it's the only time I ever switched allegiances in my life was I kind of picked up being a Charger fan for a second, which my friends gave me a lot of crap for. But
everybody picked up a team.
I wanted to see football.
You needed something to like root for. You needed someone
to fill the void.
Yeah, fill the void.
And it was so easy to take the train down to Jack Murphy. I'm dating myself, Qualcomm, I guess, but. But then as soon as the Rams, as you know, and then we were together there for that. As soon as they announced they were back, I was and am all in, and
so man, both of you guys are.
It's the best. I get to go to games with them, and we got to go to the Super Bowl together, and that year has it been 2 years or 3 years? 2 years.
2 years. Yeah.
I went to every home game. Yeah. I went to. Did I go to any away games? I went to the Detroit, I think, and then I went to all the playoff games.
Yeah. All the playoff games.
Which is they magically got all those home games.
I know.
Besides Tampa Bay, but they magically, because of the way all the teams, Green Bay and everybody lost. Yeah. And that was a special year for sure. I mean, so if we were thinking about memories from the Rams, what's a memory that stands out? What's your favorite Rams memory? Winning the Super Bowl. Yeah. For sure. And then the other one is behind the scenes, was they used to have training camp in Fullerton, off State College, in this elementary school. And I remember going to that with actually the Sauls, with Eileen Saul. Eileen packed us in her car, and we went with Jamie and Josh Saul, Rich's kids, and my brother and I went there. We went to training camp like when we were little kids. I didn't know. I was running in the locker room. Do you remember the rice buckets, the rice things? Yes. I remember we were picking them up and throwing it everywhere. Little kids, like ruining the Rams locker room, and probably some rookies had to clean it up, at the time. Leroy Irvin probably had to clean up my rice. But that, and then having all the Rams at all of our 4th of July parties as a kid. So it's kind of cool. My favorite real Ram memory is the Super Bowl, of course, right? And even when they won in '99, I was at UCLA, and that was really neat too. But those other memories of the 4th of July parties, birthday parties, being a kid at training camp, those are other really good memories. Cool. I love the Rams, man. I'm so glad they're back. I'm so glad they got the right colors back. And SoFi's amazing, and it's a beautiful stadium. Yeah. You guys, these are great questions. You guys,
how are they going to be this year?
I think so. It's funny. I think they're going to be a little better than everybody else thinks. I like. Vegas has them anywhere from 6.5 wins to 8.5 wins, and I think 8.5 is a little aggressive. Yeah, but I think
have you seen their schedule? Yeah, I don't know about eight wins.
But they have a healthy offensive line, allegedly. Actually, Logan.
I think
Logan got hurt.
Yeah, Nobu might be a little injured, but
right. But I think they're going to be okay. I think they're going to be a little healthier. So I think they can push for that with that expanded wild card. I think they can push for a playoff spot. I'd be happy. I told my ticket rep today. I talked to her on the phone today. Yeah. And I said, I'll be happy if they're just competing for a playoff spot. But I think their future's bright. I think Les Snead is a genius, and what he did was magical to get that Super Bowl win.
Oh, it was all in, yeah.
And I think we'll blink.
OBJ, in hindsight now, looking at OBJ and how critical he was in that run.
Oh, and Von Miller too.
Von Miller. Oh yeah. You take those two guys out of the lineup and it's a different team.
Yep. I mean, what did you read the other day? OBJ said, if I was healthy, I would have got 245 yards and 4 touchdowns or something. He said he was feeling it that day, and they would have won 45 to 13 or whatever instead.
Easy,
come on, man.
Easy. I don't know about that. But, I mean, he was instrumental in that game against Baltimore, that 4th down play. You know what I mean? Like, he was he single-handedly saved the season on that catch. And then, what he did in the first half of the Super Bowl was pretty prolific too.
What's it like for you two? And I know we're going to break. I can feel it. But what's it like for you two?
Hey, you're right.
Am I right? Good. What's it like for you two knowing the actual? I mean, and no offense to you, but you more. It's like your job, right?
Yeah.
Like knowing the X's and O's literally, and like seeing, like, because I feel like I don't know anything, right? I don't know anything. I'll be the first to admit it. But I've gone to so many games. I kind of figured out different packages and where guys should be, and seeing when things are open and seeing like the creativity. Are you able to watch it as a fan, or because I go with you and I see you sometimes picking it apart?
Yeah,
it's from playing before.
I'll let you speak on that because you do. This is your occupation.
Do you ever just watch it?
No, I can't. It's just different. It's you start at the line, and then if someone pulls on the line, you know the play is going this way. And if
you
it's
read
not there, and then you
do you make reads like you line up as linebacker and make reads?
Yeah.
I don't do it a lot, but I've done it every once in a while.
I don't, but I know when I see someone go somewhere, like I know where everyone else should be.
Right.
And then if someone's not there,
right,
then it's like, okay, well the play's gonna hit right there real quick, and
you can get a lot from like pre-snap, like where people are lined up and where like
and all that stuff. But I am like low level. No, like I know it. Like don't get me wrong.
You gotta give yourself more credit.
Right. No, but I know it. But
like you've watched football together, and you can call things out, and you can call out coverages. You can call out more importantly, you can call out what the offense is going to do based on situation, on down and distance. It's pretty impressive. If you do want to like get some X's and O's, sit down with this guy and let him like break apart a play. You do watch the game a little bit differently, and I think it's cool to see that.
You just offered that up, so now you got to do that.
Dude, whenever you want.
That sounds great.
I literally do that for a living.
That's awesome. The Super Bowl in Atlanta that the Rams lost, the Patriots Super Bowl, we actually sat in front of Jim Everett. That story? Right. We sat next to him in the last Super Bowl, and we sat in front of him the Super Bowl before that, just coincidentally. And he was doing the full Tony Romo, calling the play as an NFL quarterback. And at one point I turned around, I'm like, I got to tell you, man, this is the best seat I've ever had. This is the coolest thing. They lost, of course. But he was calling plays, and he was saying this is happening. And once he knew that we were into it, he would start telling it to us. And it was fun. It would be cool to go to a game with someone
definitely.
like that.
And we've talked about it before, how the quarterback is the coach on the field. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he's the extension, especially in the NFL, he's the extension of the head coach.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you watch Hard Knocks and you listen to Aaron Rodgers, dude, he's talking about stuff like, but just the knowledge and the experience. Like I said, I'm here and those dudes are up there, and that's why they can execute and do it to the highest level there is.
In that like split second, the millisecond, where they know where they should be, know where the next play the guy's going to be, they know who's blitzing. Like when you hear Cooper Kupp break down what he did or what he's going, like he did based on the coverage, it's like, good Lord, that is just like a next level.
Or Sean McVay, what he did in the third quarter of the game in his high school game, that he remembers the play. He's got
what everybody did.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
We're going to set that up. You're going to break down some game film. And
I'm in. I can't wait. It's a Ram away game. I can't wait to do it.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break as you called up that X's and O.
I sensed it.
You saw the game film. We'll be back right after this. This episode is brought to you by Cigar Spots of Orange. Cigar Spots is located in the Circle of Orange.
They have all the top brands of cigars and accessories, including my favorite, the Tatuaje Black Label. What are you going with?
That's a good cigar. I'm going with the Padron 1964. That's a hard cigar to come by. All you cigar lovers know how hard it is to get that cigar. But they also do home delivery. You can actually place the order online and have it delivered to your home if you live within the Orange County area. Or you can go and pick it up in store. You can order online, go to the store and pick it up. I did that recently when we were going out to dinner, needed to get a cigar on the way out, picked it up in store, and I was off.
When you were online, did you enter a promo code by chance?
Oh, yeah. Put in that promo code Tony Joe, got myself 20% off there. So visit cigarspots.com, and like Joe said, enter that promo code Tony Joe to get yourself that 20% discount. All right, and we are back from break. We're back with Sean Henry from Power Surge, the band, the SoCal band.
Yeah.
You played at House of Blues. You've played at Street Fair. You will be playing at Street Fair this year. It's September 2nd is when you're going to be. Saturday night.
Will this be out by then? Because
yes.
So if you're watching, Go to the street fair.
Go to
please.
street
Yeah,
fair.
go-
Not that the street fair needs any more publicity,
but just go anyway.
Go,
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
go to the main stage.
Go to
Yeah.
go to the plaza.
Yeah.
Not the circle. Go
Oh,
to the
God.
plaza.
Plaza.
Let's not
And,
let's not start that debate.
Yeah. Get there at 7:45 so you can see us 8 to 9.
8 to 9.
Free show. Yeah. Power Surge.
So Power Surge, how did Power Surge start? I don't think I've known Power Surge. I've been to plenty of Power Surge concerts. I've seen you perform live plenty of times. I have no idea how it started, how you started.
Power Surge is a great story. So Power Surge started because I was in college. I was at UCLA, and I went and saw this band that still plays now. They're called Steel Panther now.
Oh yeah,
Have you heard of
Steel
them?
Panther.
Yeah, and they played at the Viper Room back then. They were called Metal Shop, and I was like, man, what a fun thing. This is awesome.
Yeah.
I want to do this somehow. And I remember one of my buddies, Brian Mashburn, at the time, when we first met, he was in the band. He was not anymore because it's a different version now, but he was, it's a fake version now, but he was in Save Ferris. He's a founding member of the ska band Save Ferris.
Yeah.
And, my other buddy, Zach Amos, and we would always joke around and be like, let's just go to the Save Ferris practice space and just mess around and play 80s hair metal, like for fun.
Yeah.
And the first time we ever did it was probably around 98, 99, 2000, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And we went there and brought a bunch of Keystone Ice, not light. Keystone Ice, Keystone Light.
Yeah.
One of them.
I think it's
Natty.
Keystone
It's a
Light.
Natty Ice or a Keystone
natural
Light.
ice or Keystone Light.
Yeah.
It was Keystone Light then because our first, we're going to start a band, the three of us. And it was, I can't play any instruments. So it was Brian Mashburn on guitar, Zach playing drums, and me singing. And our first band name was the Keystone Warriors. And we were just,
nice.
we didn't know what we were going to do. We were just like, let's just do this for fun. We're just mess around in Save Ferris's practice space.
Yeah.
And we were just playing a couple songs. Like Brian Mashburn is an absolute musical genius. He's
Really?
oh man, he's a genius.
Yeah.
Musically, he can play any note of any instrument. He can play multiple instruments. He can just, if you ask him to play a
that's
song,
cool.
he can just start. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's fun to be in a band with him. And so we had that, and then we got a call one day from somebody a couple of years later that said, and he was asking one of Brian's other bands to play, and Brian was just messing around. And he said, and this is 2004 now, so fast forward a couple of years.
Yeah.
And we'd done this a couple times in the Lockout, which was the practice space. It's just like it's kind of like this, like a industrial, like an office space that you just convert into a band practice. And he gets this call for one of his other bands to play. And he's like, actually, I have this side gig. It's an 80s metal cover band. You want to use that? And he's like, yeah, that sounds awesome. So Brian calls me and Zach and says, we got to get more band members. We're going to play a show. I was like, what? Like, we're going to play a real show? Like, he's like, yeah. And this is like,
Had you at any point like played in front of or
no.
No
I mean,
gigs yet.
Oh God. So I was a musical theater major.
Yeah.
I had majored in musical theater. I had done a bunch of plays, a lot of musicals. I've sang in front of a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like I've done all that, but never like a rock star, you know what I mean? Like, or especially covering like 80s metal bands. And he's like, we got to get together. So we called, our first phone calls were to Ian Cohn, Ian Madison now, and who is a former guitar player for Homegrown and one of the best guitar players most of our friends who are all in the industry have ever met. He's insanely great session guitar player, just extremely talented. Very, very talented. And he says yes. So we're like, oh, we got two guitars. We got, rhythm, a lead guitar.
Yeah.
Me on vocals. I can't play an instrument. And Zach on drums. We need a bass.
Yeah.
So we call our friend Ted Vega, who we know from high school, and Ted said yes, and boom, we got a band. So we just went to Brian's house and we practiced. We got out of the Save Ferris practice space probably because they needed it. And we got to Brian's garage and just practiced like, I don't know, I think we practiced for like 2 weeks, 10 times straight, and we came up with like, oh God, I got to go back through my emails, but we probably had like 6 or 8 songs, something like that. And we played in downtown Fullerton, the place is gone. Oh man, I can't remember the name of the place. It was an Italian restaurant. It's been gone for a long time, but it's next to Zing's, and it's next to the Irish pub that's down there on Harbor, like on the main strip. And we played there for this guy's birthday, and they ran out of Bud Light. They ran out of glasses. They were pouring drinks in vases and mugs.
Oh my gosh!
And it was this, and the pictures are hilarious because I'm 20. Oh gosh, I'm 26 at the time, and I'm skinny. I'm in shape, and we're wearing wigs, and it's just this different version of Power Surge. But I'm going on. I'm rambling, but that's how we started. Was this guy's birthday, and it went so well that the next show we played was at the House of Blues, Anaheim. But it wasn't us. We weren't headlining.
So that's a huge jump.
Well, this is what happened. Our buddies from Homegrown were coming through, and they were going to play at the Anaheim show, and they were like, at the band that Ian was previously in, now it's different. He was out of the band. Some other guys were in it. Yeah. They say, hey, we lost our direct support. Will you guys open for us? And
no
I'm like,
way.
You gotta be kidding me. So we opened for him, and that was our second show in front of sold out House of Blues, old House of Blues, the Disney downtown Disney.
Yeah.
And it was just the coolest feeling ever. And then we played right away at what's now the Tiki Bar in Costa Mesa. It was called Club Rain back then. Yeah. And we were the headliner. And we sold that out and made some pretty good money. And then I'm giving you the origin at the same time. You're like, where did it start? But this is how the beginning started.
Yeah,
House of Blues was so stoked on us from opening. They called us and said, do you guys want your own show? I was like,
no way.
What? And we've played there every year since. So that was 2004. So.
Were you Power Surge then? Was that the name?
Yeah, so sorry.
Yeah, where does the name come from?
So the name. Great question.
The Keystone Warriors.
It was that until we got that show, that first birthday show.
Yeah,
and we're like, we got to get a new name. We can't be just the Keystone Warriors. And the guys are gonna kill me, but I'm pretty sure it was my idea. And I thought, we'll be Power Surge, like a surge of power. And I remember it because I got the idea from the Santiago Junior High School, I want to say 8th grade yearbook. It might be 7th grade.
Yeah.
I think it was 8th grade now that I think back. And it was like pure energy. And there was a bunch of electric, like lightning bolts around. Yeah. Remember that font? And then there was that song, Pure Energy by something Inc. I can't remember. I want to know what you're thinking. There are some things you can't hide. It was like the Kiss FM.
I don't know that one.
So anyway, I'm going way over it, but that's what it was like. Power Surge, like a surge of power.
Right.
I was just picturing.
So you throw it out to the band,
and they're like, we love it. They're like, this is great. And I go, but we'll spell it Serge.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to have a persona. I'm not going to be me. I'm not going to be Sean Henry.
Yeah.
I'm going to be Sergei von Sergio. And our name will be Power Surge, and I'll speak with this pretty bad Eastern European accent that people later on got confused, saying, "Oh, you're Borat, you're Borat." I'm like, no, I was doing this before Borat. This comes from a long time ago, and and that was it, and we've been going ever since. We've played pretty much every year at the House of Blues ever since.
So they called you, gave you your own show, and since then it's been off to the races.
Yeah, and then we've played a couple. We used to play this place in Long Beach called the Saatchi Bar that was in a lobby of a hotel, and the rooms were like $90 a night. There was probably prostitution and drugs. It was on 2nd and PCH. Now it's the Long Beach, it's like the Ways and Means is there now. No, I'm sorry, that's the Huntington Beach, but it's a really nice. It's a Whole Foods and and a restaurant just opened up their new location. There, it's like a really ritzy, nice place. They tore down the hotel and the ballroom we played at.
Got rid of the riffraff.
Yeah, and they made it like a really nice, like Long Beach, the Grove. You know what I mean? Or
like outdoor
like
plaza.
Downtown Disney. Yeah, so that was it. We've played ever since, and
all the same original members.
Yeah, well, Brian left for some personal reasons in like 2007, 2008, and then he came back. And Dan Hammond, who was also in Homegrown, he was the one that actually I think he got us on that Homegrown show. Him and John Tran, who are both buddies of ours, and Dan took Brian's place just to do some of the rhythm stuff. But then Brian was like, I want to come back. And we were like, okay. And then we kept Dan too. So we end up, now we have,
so you guys just grew.
we just have three guitars.
Yeah.
3 guitars, a bass player, a drummer, and me. And yeah, it's funny. Like we always make the joke, like most bands don't make it that long. Like most bands, if you look back historically, they just don't. And we've been a band for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
And it's fun. We're a cover, we're a tribute cover band.
Yeah.
So we have 2 original songs.
Oh,
One
do?
we played once and one we don't play anymore. We should play it more.
Are you going to play any of the originals at the street fair?
We're not allowed to play them at the
Oh,
street fair.
really?
Yeah, they're definitely rated R. I wouldn't say NC-17. I think they're rated R. But I don't know if this podcast is what the rating is for this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, drop set
it's about it's about one song's about heavy petting and the other song is just about women's breasts. So it's you don't really play those at the street fair because it's a family affair. Right? But it's a fun gig. We've been doing it forever. Dan stayed when Brian came back, and it's just been this cool gig we've been doing on the side. It's grown to this crazy thing.
It looks so much like you're having so much fun. Like the shows that I've been to, not only are everybody in the crowd having fun, but you guys look like you're having so much fun up there. What's it like being up on a stage singing in front of it's hundreds if not thousands of people?
Yeah, you can say thousands, I think sometimes.
At the street fair,
street fair is probably
street fair is going to be
huge.
Yeah, it's the best. It's the best feeling. I love it. I thrive off it. It fills my cup, as they say, and it's an adrenaline rush, and I love doing it. I love just being a lead singer of a band, even if it's a cover band. I still love doing it. And
so, what's it feeling like? You're before you go on stage. Are you getting like nerves? Are you getting like what's it like backstage before you go up and you feel that like crowd's energy? Like what are you feeling and what's it like before you step up on that stage?
It's funny because I'm a fan of your podcast, so I listen to the other podcasts, and I heard Chris Hurd, who I think I'm allowed to say is my brother-in-law, which is just a crazy coincidence. But I have the same symptoms as him. Yeah. You get tired.
Oh, really?
And you get cold. He said that, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not alone, because I've acted. I was an actor.
Yeah.
I've been on stage.
Yeah.
I was a theater major.
Yeah.
And the same thing kind of happened back then. I just thought it was just part of the gig. And you get really cold, and I yawn. I yawn uncontrollably before I get on stage.
Yeah.
But I'm not nervous. Like I hear
it's just
a lot
like
of
a
nerves.
physical response to this. Yeah.
Just a reaction.
Yeah, it's just a reaction. And I'm not nervous.
Yeah.
Because I am becoming that other person. I'm not Sean Henry. I'm Serge von Sergio. And I just literally become that dude. And I just try to just be I just try to have the most fun. Yeah. I try to have the crowd have the most fun. There's a lot of banter during our shows.
Oh yeah.
It's just the best. It's the best feeling. So I try to warm up before. I try to warm up my voice, but I don't get nervous. I get I'm way more nervous for this than I would ever be for any of the shows.
Okay, so speaking of voice, when did you know that you could sing? Like, when did you find your voice? Because we've all sung in the shower.
Yeah.
As a kid, you picture yourself in the music
I knew I couldn't
video.
sing at 6,
you're
7
trying
years
to sing
old.
and stuff but when did you like, damn, I'm like pretty good at this?
Well,
let me preface it with, you're an amazing singer and you got such a powerful, nice voice.
Thanks. I think I have a loud voice. I think I'm okay.
Which is a skill or a gift in itself. When did you discover that?
I'm okay. Tone wise, I could use a little work, I think. But I'm more of a showman than I am a singer. But I think when I was young, my parents we always had music on. So I was always kind of listening to the Righteous Brothers and trying to do both parts of the Righteous Brothers, trying to do the harmonies of the Everly Brothers. I think around then is when I realized, I can do this because my brother and sister couldn't. They can do everything else, of course, but they couldn't do that. Friends of mine and peers of mine, they would always ask me to sing. And then when I got to Santiago, everybody does that. You do either woodshop or you do drama. I obviously did drama. And,
there was home ec.
I'm sorry, home ec was the other elective, right?
Yeah.
Is that the word? But I definitely did drama, 8th grade. And Miss Beldragoon was like, yeah, you're doing 2 songs. Usually most kids.
So you would say 8th grade. That's when you knew
I think 8th grade is when I got the feedback that I was good.
Yeah.
But I should say too, around 6th or 7th grade, a family friend, Linda Tisbo, rest in peace, awesome lady who was the singer, the resident singer at Old Newport 17 over by the Tustin Brewing Company. It was a really fancy restaurant for like everybody that was our parents' age.
Yeah.
She was the lounge singer there. She heard me messing around one day, and she lent me her PA system.
Oh, no way.
So I think that was it. Around 6th grade, I was singing in my parents' garage. I was singing I found old videos of me singing some of those same songs that we do. Yeah, some Scorpion songs, Winds of Change, and then The Greatest Love of All by Whitney Houston. And like I like singing songs, and I would do musicals. So I don't know. I think to answer your question, sorry, it was a long-winded answer, but like around 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, around there.
That's interesting. I found out that I couldn't sing from my sister. My sister was she has a beautiful voice. And when I listened to her sing and compared to what I could do, it was very evident that she got the voice and I didn't.
Yeah, it's so funny. I think of it as micking more than anything. I think I just kind of mimicked what I heard and then just kept practicing. And I had a little bit of training, but nothing legit, you know, nothing ever legit. Yeah. But I love doing it, you know, and I still sing to this day. I sang today on the way here. So, you know.
So what,
so cool.
like if you were to think back on all the performances that you had, I mean, I'd like to think that you had all great performances, but I'm sure there's some stinkers in there. What was like one of the worst performances you had? Either with Power Surge or doing musicals, doing theater?
Gosh, that's a great question. Well, man, musicals and theater, I just love doing that always. And they're all good at high school. In El Medina, we had a great
drama there.
Was it Miss Herida?
Miss Herida, Mariana Herida, who, God, I love you, Mama H, if you're watching that. I'm going to forward this to her, so she's going to have to watch it. But she's had a great run of people that come out of there. And she's had a lot of very successful actors come out of there. But all of those were good.
Time out. So speaking of actors out of Elmwood, do you know Milo?
I do, yeah. Yes.
Milo
That dude owes me-
That
dude owes me an apology.
he owes you an apology?
Yeah.
What do you want it? Should we text him right now, or should we get him?
That dude pants me when I was little.
Oh man, he's gonna be mortified. Oh
Yeah, and I hope he sees this.
I will
And hope you send it to
apologize
him.
on behalf of him. We texted today. I texted him today, so I will.
Yeah.
I'll tell him.
Don't worry, I'm
He'll
38.
Say,
I let it go.
sounds like
It
it.
scarred me.
Sounds like you let it go.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Keep going.
No, yeah. So yeah, Milo's who, gosh, he's like the polar opposite of someone that would pant someone now. Back then, it was maybe he would say it's his own things that were going on. But yeah, she's had great people come through there, and we had good shows there. I ended up going before I went to UCLA, I went to Orange Coast College. Orange Coast College was known as having
Pirates.
Pirates. Absolutely, for different reasons. Mine was drama. Yours was probably sports. But they had one of the best. They have, I think, still one of the best theater programs, junior college theater programs.
Yeah.
Like one of the best transfer rates to places like UCLA, USC, Juilliard, NYU. Which I applied to all those and I didn't get in. I saw my peers get in. I was devastated. Now, my whole life, I just wanted to go to UCLA. As soon as I switched my major to history from theater, got right in.
Oh, nice.
Really funny. So I ended up getting in there. So it wasn't there, but I think I gotta say one of the worst performances I've ever been in. It's a happy ending.
Okay.
We did. You all know Lou LaRue, or it's the women's clothing. This one's called Cabby, but it's like the offshoot of it. It's like Tupperware, but for women's clothing. Like women are like, or it's like
like an Avon,
like an
kind of
Avon thing.
Yeah.
So they had their national conference. This is probably like 5 or 6 years ago in San Diego, the San Diego Convention Center.
Yeah.
And they asked us to play. And we're like, yeah, we'll play. So we get there and we're sound checking, and it's in the San Diego Convention Center. So we're on the stage. We're like, okay, cool. It looks like they're going to set up something pretty cool for later.
Yeah.
And we're in the middle of just racks and racks and racks and racks of clothes, of different shoes, and just forever. And they're like, yeah, there's going to be, 5,000 women here. And I'm like, wow, this is going to be awesome. Like, whatever. So we think it's going to be great. And they're like, we're like, okay, cool. Well, when you get the stage set up and you get the lights ready and you get everything going, let's like, oh no, this is it. And it's fluorescent lights, like the regular
lights,
regular San Diego Convention Center lights. And we're like, what? And they're like, oh, and you go on at like 5 or 6 p.m. So we start, and it's just us and like 3 or 4 people like walking around checking things out, and we're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be awful.
Oh my gosh.
But the good news is, by the end of the set, there was probably about 4,000 or 5,000 people.
Oh my gosh,
thousands.
really?
Yeah, and
did they come because they heard the music?
No, I think they were already there. I think there was like their 3-day. There was their 3-day conference. And
right.
Yeah, and I think they were shopping to bring stuff back to wherever they throughout the country. But once they realized that it was like it was this, then it turned around. But that first, it was like I think what actually we played a '90s version of our band, which we have called Sour Purge.
Sour Purge, yeah.
And we played Sour Purge first, and it was just crickets, and it was rough, and we were like, well. This looks like this is a practice with fluorescent lights, and then it ended up being great. It ended up being awesome. They loved it, but that's probably our worst.
Well, what's the best performance then, or best experience?
Best experience. It's probably a tie, and I would say it's really hard to answer. It's any of the big House of Blues shows. There's one that really. In particular, that went really well, and it was the new House of Blues, so it's the big house, which is 2,200. We sold out the old one, no problem. That's 1,100 people. We sold that all the time. The new one's 2,200, so we haven't sold that out yet. We're still trying. Hopefully for the 20-year anniversary, which hopefully y'all go to.
We'll put a link in here for the tickets.
Thanks. That'll be next year, next summer sometime. But one of those shows is just a really good feeling, having the crowd in the palm of your hand. But Street Fair, Street Fair. The first time we played, when we got shut down after 20 minutes of playing, we were on for 20 minutes. They shut down the power. The police and the firemen shut down the power because there's too many people. And we got off stage, and they were like, "We're so sorry," and we weren't even mad. We were like, "This is the greatest thing that's ever happened." Like, we shut down the Street Fair. This is awesome, and we celebrated that forever. So tie really between those two things, just one of the really great. House of Blues show tied with.
So has that been the biggest crowd then too?
I would say the Street Fair has probably been the biggest crowd. I think just because sheer numbers. Maybe not everybody's watching, but
there's so many people. I mean, I wouldn't even say forced because you can't help but look over when you see Power Surge on, when you see you on stage. You can't help but be like captivated.
Thank you.
And it's like, I mean, your stage presence, you have like such a presence, you have like you said, the showmanship, like that is like what is like what's so like attractive about Power Surge. I mean, the music, we all know the music, but it's just that feeling that you get when you look over and you see your character on stage.
We're in wigs and makeup and tight pants.
And the pants stuffing.
And the pants.
Definitely pants
stuffing.
Is that stuffing? 100%. Absolutely. No, I would be single for the rest of my life if that was real. It's 100%. I don't know if can I give away my secrets? It's 2 socks.
That's
two
socks, like you would get them out of laundry and you fold your socks and you put them together.
Yeah.
For some reason, it just looks like a phallic kind of
thing.
Yeah. It doesn't when it's outside the pants, but it does when you put it in. That's definitely not real. Not even close. But yeah.
But you have such a presence. Do you look towards? Do you have somebody that you try and emulate, or are you trying to like harness someone? Do you look at like people, try to emulate their style, or is this just all you?
God. Well, I think.
Do you break down film?
I don't break down film. I should break down film. I shouldn't say that. I do look at a lot of my favorites. What they've done in the past. I've kind of made it my own. And the reason why it's so captivating, why it's so good, it is the music. It is the dudes in the band. They're all professionals. I mean, they're all touring musicians that have all played in front of hundreds of thousands of people. Not like me. I'm literally what I like to call a glorified karaoke singer. I'm just a good singer that just has good buddies that all went to Alma High School, except for Brian went to Loera. But we won't
hold it against him.
Yeah, we got no, of course not. But we got 2 dudes from '93, 2 dudes from '95. I'm from '96, and Zach's from '97. And apart from Brian, we all went to Alma. I'm just friends with them.
I should say the backdrop of like Power Surge. I mean, it's like with any band, it's the everything. One can't exist without the other. You don't exist without the band being as good as they are. And they make it look so effortless too. When I'm looking at those guys up on stage, like there's no way I could ever do anything close to that. And it's so
smooth.
It's so smooth, and they're so good at what they do. They're in their element, and it helps to like amplify you and like.
I'm so lucky, man.
It's so impressive. Everybody collectively, and I think that's what makes Power Surge so fun to watch.
And we're friends. We're all good friends. Like we all get along really well. We're all very different people, very different dudes, and but we all love each other, and we've been doing this forever. We've been to each other's multiple weddings, and we've been, some of us are married twice, and we have kids, and I'm one of them. I've been married twice, but like they're just great guys, and I'm really lucky to be friends with them.
How does it feel? And do you have like a sense of pride that you get to play the street fair?
Yes.
Where you grew up?
Yes.
Yes,
it's the cool. So it's the only gig we've ever played where we haven't gotten paid. It's a non-paying gig, but we don't care because we're all from here. We all worked the street fair when we went to El Medina. We all picked up trash.
Oh yeah.
Cross country and tennis. We actually got to sell stuff and sell food and but I know the football players picked up trash and the wrestlers, right? I think wrestlers and football picked up trash. So I did.
We've moved up. Now we're like doing food.
Oh, good.
Awesome. Stuff. But
there's a huge amount of pride. We all love the city. We all love this community. We are very, very proud to play it. It's more for us than it is, for everybody else. We love to do it. So that's a great question. We love doing it for the city of Orange. That's for sure.
Well, I know everybody can speak for everybody in the city of Orange, say that we love watching it, and look forward to watching you and Power Surge play.
Thanks.
September 2nd, Saturday night, 8 p.m.
Probably be in jorts.
Yeah.
It's too hot.
It's gonna be a little warm.
It's too hot for those pants, man. It's too hot. But 8 p.m. It'll be fun.
All right. We had a previous episode where we went over the rock and roll top 10 list.
Wow.
Okay.
I missed it, so
I'm going to give
probably
it to
good.
you.
Okay.
We want some feedback from you.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Number 10, Iron Maiden.
Oh God, talk about a voice. We did Run to the Hills once, I think. Maybe it was practice, but Iron Maiden top 10 rock bands.
Deserving.
Yes.
Yeah, they are in
rock
the top
and roll,
10.
Rock and roll.
Rock and
Okay.
roll. Yes.
Number 9, Metallica.
Yeah. See, definitely. God, I'm going to get in trouble for saying this. I am not a Metallica fan.
Okay, moving on.
But everybody that knows music, all the musicians in my band, they're all huge Metallica fans.
Yeah.
And I don't dislike them. I'm just like,
are you just like
I'm not falling over myself to go see them. But they definitely metal. Yeah, rock metal.
Number 8, Rolling Stones.
Yeah, so they're like they were my number one for a long time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a long time. My 20s. It was the Rolling Stones for me, without a doubt.
Okay.
Without a doubt.
Number 7, Black Sabbath.
Oh, gee. Yeah, you're getting deep. I don't know if they're in my top 10.
Just on the outskirts, maybe.
Yeah, but they deserve to be up there. He's crazy. Like,
dude, Ozzy's legit.
He's nuts. He's a front man, but not like a. He's a showman, right? Like,
very much so.
You wouldn't say he has a great voice, but. He
has a distinct voice. Yeah. He has a distinct voice.
He's more of a personality almost.
Yeah.
Like I would put Oasis. Oh, sorry. I don't know if Oasis is on your list, but
spoiler, they're not.
They're not?
No.
Yeah, I would put Oasis in there where Black Sabbath is.
Number 6, the Beatles.
Yeah, they're my number 2 right now in my life. It's changed throughout my life.
Yeah.
Beatles has always been in my top 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a little low. I think
they're number 2 for me right now.
Yeah. I think it was a little low in this list. I think what we said last time.
I wonder if my number 1's going to be even on your list.
Number 5.
Wait, hold on. Let's see what would you, all right, we got top 5. You hear what's out. Let's see if you can guess like maybe 1 or 2 from the top 5.
Oh gosh. So what we said? We said Black Sabbath.
We got Black Sabbath,
Rolling Stones,
Beatles,
Metallica, Iron Maiden.
Iron Maiden.
You have to have Queen in there.
Number 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So they're my number. They're like my real number 1 probably. Guns N' Roses.
Honorable mention.
Honorable mention. Oh, they're definitely in the
We
top.
said that in
Yeah.
episode. You guessed Guns N' Roses. I was like,
Yeah.
honorable mention.
This is rock and roll though, right?
Yeah.
I'll say Queen. The Beach Boys is my number 1.
Dude, I said that one too.
You guessed
Beach
that
Boys
too.
is my number
They're
1.
not. They're not on here.
This is yours. So this is
No, I
Joe's list.
swear.
No, this is
Or this is
Rolling
Rolling
Stones.
Stones?
Yeah,
Oh,
Rolling
goodness.
Stones. Top
I got this
10.
from a website. Come on. It's not me. Okay, number 5, AC/DC.
Oh yeah, they should be in there.
Okay.
They're
Number
great.
4, Pink Floyd.
Oh darn it, Led Zeppelin's in there then too. I went over my head.
Number 3 is Rush.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Number 2.
Rush isn't rock. Rush is its own thing. Rush is.
It's like
That's what you were
Own
saying.
thing.
That's what you were saying.
Rush is too good to even be in the rock. It's its own thing. But yes, I agree with that.
Okay. Then number 2 is Queen, and then number 1, Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you said Pink Floyd, and I love Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin, they're definitely in my top 10.
Yeah.
But my number 1 is the Beach Boys, without a doubt. And people always go back and say, "Oh, Surfing Safari." I'm like, no, go listen to Pet Sounds. It's the greatest album of all time, without a doubt.
Give us your top 5 frontmen, since you're a frontman.
Frontman. Freddie Mercury, number 1, hands down, without a doubt.
So
And it's
good.
not close.
So good.
Not close. Axl Rose is someone. Mick Jagger, easy.
Yeah.
Gwen Stefani. I'm going to go
Stefani's
front
a
woman,
good-
front
she is a
person.
good
Speaking of
front woman.
Loera.
Yeah, Loera High
Yeah,
School. Went to
Loera
Loera with
graduate.
Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go Saxons.
Yeah, go Saxons. Who am I missing? Prince.
Yeah.
Prince.
Big fan. You know Prince is
Oh,
dead.
dude.
I do know Prince is dead.
Yeah, it was a very sad. I think everybody but you know that Prince is dead.
You didn't know Prince is dead.
Dude, I swear
I
to
have
God.
to go. I thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
Hey, no, we were seriously in the middle of an episode, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Prince is, he
Oh,
died."
some of the roughest
R.I.P.
I was like,
days of my
R.I.P.
life.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What do you mean that?"
Oh yeah, that was bad.
Dude, him and MJ, right, were like some of the first guys to, like the fentanyl.
Yeah.
Well, there was
MJ
a big gap in between the two, but yeah, between when MJ died and Prince.
Yeah, but
MJ's
that's not like.
Proprol. I know I had it recently because
Oh, you did?
because I had a colonoscopy. I turned 45. Everybody,
yeah.
if you're 45 or older, get your colonoscopy done because you got to make sure you're good. But man, that puts you out.
They gave you the MJ.
Yeah,
Really?
they gave me the MJ, and I woke up feeling like $1 million. I know why you did it, and because you wake up, you're
Puts
like,
you
wow,
right to
that's
sleep.
yeah, and you wake up feeling incredible. So whatever, that's awful to say, but get your colonoscopy if you're 45 or older.
Is Michael on your top 5?
Yeah, but he's not a front man. He's his
He's
own
yeah.
thing.
I would say
Like-
he's his own.
like-
Well,
kind of
Prince was
entity.
kind of his own thing.
No, he's the
Well, he had a band behind
Yeah.
him, but he was
Yeah.
still like.
yeah.
I kind of feel like maybe I would put Prince
he
in that same kind of
started it with the band behind him. He became a solo artist.
realm. Yeah.
But Prince and the Generation, New
Well,
Power Generation,
but
and
so did Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was in the Jackson,
Jackson 5. And I guess he was
Good
the
call.
front man.
Yeah.
It wasn't an ensemble.
Yeah.
call.
But even still, I
El
think-
Medina Lip Sync Champions 1993, me doing the Jackson 5, and I was Michael Jackson.
No way.
Yeah.
What song did you do? I Want You Back?
We did I Want You Back.
Nice.
My freshman year, we did ABC, my sophomore year, and we did the
Nice.
Love You Save my junior year, and we won all 3 years.
Whoa.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. That's
mi-
my
were you-
best sports memory, even though it has nothing to do with sports. See,
Were
while
you
you all
Mr.
were
Van-
scoring touchdowns and winning
Biggest accomplishment?
championships, I was doing that. That's what I was doing.
Were you also Mr. Vanguard? Did you win that?
We didn't have Mr. Vanguard.
Oh, okay.
We didn't
All
have
right.
that. That was after my.
If you did, you would have won it.
No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't cool enough. Like I was like the drama, dorky guy. I was popular, but for all the wrong reasons. Like I was like the guy that you could tell that wanted to be on ASB, and the guy you could tell wanted to be in the assemblies. Like I was that dork. You know what I mean? Like the football players were my friends, but they wanted to make fun of me, and they did. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. But like I said, I did cross country because the girls did cross country. I did theater because the girls were in theater. I knew
Yeah, it's
that
a good-
I liked girls. And-
Yeah. That
or
is
I know what I liked. Is you can like anybody they want. But
Yeah.
I knew what I liked, and while everybody was in football practice, I was kissing girls because the teacher was saying this is a kissing scene. I was like, this is great. Let's
Sign
do
me
this.
up. Here we go.
I love theater, so that's where it was. Sorry. Wait. So what? So what I say?
oh,
Freddie
we're talking
Mercury.
frontmen.
Frontman.
Freddie Mercury. That's
Yeah.
David Lee Roth. Diamond David Lee Roth.
What about David Bowie?
He's not a frontman. He's one of the best of all time.
Yeah.
But I guess he had the spiders, right? He's a solo artist. In my
I think
mind.
when you just
Jagger?
think back on him.
Mick Jagger's front. I said him.
Yeah, I think
He's-
he's
yeah.
Mick Jagger.
And the
Yeah.
Beatles is tough because it was Paul and John, so there was never a front. And George later on when they let him play.
Yeah.
What about Bruce Springsteen?
Oh yeah, he's up there. Gosh darn it.
I'm not a Bruce guy.
You know who else? I'm not either, but I'm trying to be,
not.
and I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
Garth Brooks is also not a front man, but unbelievable. I'm not a country person. My wife has made Courtney. Shout out to Courtney. She's made me a country person, so I think he's up there. I don't know what made me think of this. When I said Gwen Stefani, Florence of Florence and the Machine.
Oh yeah,
She's incredible.
I've seen her play in concert, and she is very, like, she has that, like, a presence on stage. It's a very, like I don't know. There's just something that you can get. I think all these people have that common denominator, which is when they're on stage, you just feel their presence.
Yeah.
Some people are just there, and then other people like are not, and you just kind of don't.
I'm not a huge Foo Fighters fan, but you just described Dave Grohl to me.
Yeah,
like
Dave
great
Grohl,
musician, but he just has that presence.
He has that presence.
Eddie Vedder's same way, I think.
Yeah.
Not a great voice, but a good front man.
Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam's
So
amazing. Good. Yeah, whether you like them or not, you know they're good.
Yeah.
Smashing Pumpkins.
This is a great question. Billy Corgan.
Billy Corgan's really good. We just saw Smashing Pumpkins recently.
They're so good live.
Yeah,
I've seen them live. Yeah,
it was like surprisingly good. I didn't realize I was going to have that much, like, just enjoy it that much.
Yeah.
But the answer, the number one, without a doubt, is Freddie Mercury. Yeah. Without a doubt. Yeah. And David Lee Roth is right behind him. Yeah. Front man. Freddie Mercury has it all, but David Lee Roth is the ultimate front man of a band. And my regards to Sammy Hagar, but Diamond Dave, he's the man.
That's what we wanted to hear from
God, I love talking about this. Yeah. Guys, stop talking about football. Start talking about something I know. Jeez.
Well, on that note, we got to wrap it up.
See you later.
So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back after this.
This episode is brought to you by Palm Market. Palm Market was established in 1925. Located on Palm Avenue near the Circle of Orange, the new owners, Tim and Moose, are now the owners of the oldest establishment in the city of Orange.
Yeah, they've got some great sandwiches there. When I go, I usually get the kubini, which has braised pork, boar's head ham, mustard, pickles, Swiss cheese, all on a telera bread. This thing is lights out.
Very nice. I usually go with the Plaza. Add a little extra mayo, avocado, and bacon for me. But I did see Tim making a pulled pork sandwich that looked very good the other day.
Some good stuff.
And when I take my kids, we usually take some quarters, hit the gumball machine. If you get yourself an orange gumball, win yourself a free sandwich.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But they don't just do sandwiches there. They've got a wide selection of beer and wine. And if you go, tell them that Real and Field sent you, get yourself a 10% discount at anything at the deli. So visit Palm Market. Visit their website at palmmkt.com and check out all the sandwiches that they have there. All right, and we are back. All right, we're going to get into some real estate talk here. You have been in the real estate industry for a while. Your position, you're with First American. Mm-hmm. Tell us what you do at First American. What's your position?
So First American, awesome company. Been around since 1889. Started as Orange County Title, has now become, since 1959, I think, First American Title.
Yeah.
There's a couple different divisions at First American. So who you're used to talking to is the direct division. Mm-hmm. They help out the realtors, lenders. There's a commercial division that talks to the people that build like strip malls or this Crypto.com Arena or SoFi Stadium.
Yeah.
And then there's my division, which is the Home Builder Services Division. Okay. And I'm the Western Region Sales Manager for the Home Builder Services Division. So right now I've been overseeing California, the sales teams in California, but I'm about to get a couple more states added to my whatever you want to call it,
responsibility.
My responsibility, I get to have an expanded role. But I've been in this management position for a little over 5 years. I was a sales rep before that.
Yeah.
And basically, I'm a coach. To be honest with you, I think I've joked with you about this before. Is I'm not a boss. It's like you do this, you do this. I'm very lucky. I have an awesome team. There's 11 people that are on my team in California, and they're all. I think the average tenure for people on my team is something like 18 years, which is really cool.
Oh, wow.
We have unbelievable market share. I mean, normal market share for like a direct operation, really good market share would be something like 20 to 25%. If you have that in the county or the jurisdiction that you're in, the city you're in, you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
We're at 67%.
Oh, wow.
So 2/3 of every house built, new home built, because I'm in Home Builder Services, is under our umbrella. We provide the title and hopefully escrow for them. So I like to say I'm like a coach. I just try to give the people whatever they need to make their lives happy, whatever makes their jobs easier. I'm there to support them. I always say I'm a servant to them when they introduce me at events or introduce me to clients. They say, "Hey, this is my boss." I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm so's assistant." You know, I'm lucky to work for a great team that's been around for a long time, and we're at the top of our game. So
all right, coach.
Yeah.
Well, then now you gotta coach me up, because I don't, like, we've gone over it before. I don't know a whole lot about this stuff.
Sure.
Right, but I enjoy listening and learning. And so what is title?
It's a great question. You're not alone, Joe. Like, there's a lot. It's the question I ask. Like, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I'm in title insurance. I'm like, okay,
like, yeah. What is that?
Yeah. So it's really interesting. And the easy way to explain it is when there's a transaction for a piece of property, whether it's land, whether it's SoFi Stadium, whether it's a resale house like you deal with, a house that's been occupied before, or a brand new home, there's a change of possession. There's a buyer and a seller. And what title insurance is title insurance says you own this piece of property that, excuse me. So you own this piece of property. When you close escrow, from the insurance, you pay a premium, and it says from that point backwards, no one can mess and say, hey, no, I have a claim to this. Or Southern California Edison, I have an easement that runs through your property that we say, if that is true, we will settle with them, and that's what you pay the insurance for. So the easy way to explain it is, your car insurance, your health insurance, you pay monthly, every month from whenever you start forward. So you're paying for it every month for if you get in a car accident later, or if you have some health issues later. So you're paying it monthly forward. In title insurance, you pay it at the close of that transaction of that deal one time, and it goes for everything backwards. So in California, what we do is we'll search your piece of property and look and see who's had interest in it all the way back to the Spanish land grant of 1849 in California. So we're looking, it's a history. I was a history major, right, at UCLA. I talked about how I was a theater major, but I ended up being a history major. I'm doing the right thing. That's what title insurance is. It's looking backwards and seeing the change of hands, who has encumbrances to your property, if there's any clouds of title. Clouds would be just any bad news, right, for in layman's terms. And that's what it is. It's the easy way to put title insurance is it's a one-time payment all the way back to ensure that you own the property.
So it's a protection for a new buyer who's coming in, has no idea what the history of this property is, where it's been, who has claim to it. If there's an ex-wife that was somehow wants to lay claim to it, title insurance is, this is a protection. You're going to pay us a fee. We're going to do all of that digging, make sure that this title is nice and clean, so that when you buy it, you're getting a clean title, and we're going to give you that assurance, dating back to however long.
Yeah, as far back as we can go. And that's what we look at our risk, and we say, hey, look, we see nothing on here. Like, it's this person's owned this for 6 years, and the person before that owned it for 60 years, and the person before that was from Spain and signed it over. Rancho Mission Viejo, Rancho Santa Margarita, right? Rancho San Juan Cap. There are ranchos here in California. All those cities that you think they're just cities. No, they were actually ranches that people owned, and they would say that there's meets and bounds. It would be 15 steps from this stone to this stake of this fence. You own this property, and that's how we used to search. Now we have new technology, and we can look at use everything else. But that's what I do. Nobody. I joke with my dad, who is also in the real estate home building industry. He was a lender for the construction loans, but nobody ever says, I want to grow up to be in title. No one says that. They're like, I want to be a title sales rep. You just kind of fall into it, and that's what happened with me. I went to UCLA again for the 50th time. I'm very proud of it, obviously. But went there and go Bruins. Yeah, go Bruins. And then fell into, through my father, through some connections, I fell into working for a builder, an actual home builder called Richmond American Homes, who's still around. Yeah, great home builder out of Colorado. And I started in land acquisition and ended up in project management. Then went on to Ryland Homes, which is now Lennar. Ryland Homes merged with Standard Pacific Homes, became Cal Atlantic, and then Lennar Homes, which you both have heard of. I'm sure you've heard Lennar. If you haven't, they're very big. They're the first or second biggest builder in the United States. Yeah. And then when the downturn happened, I went and did solar for a couple of years and sold solar. for a little while, 6 years.
Yeah.
And then I got a call from a buddy from high school, actually, from Almadena, Don Kennedy, whose great grandfather founded the company in 1889, and whose grandfather was our president and CEO. His father was president and CEO, and said, hey, we're good friends with their family. They've asked me to join the company a couple of times, and this time I was like, you know what? Yeah. And I started in that first year. I was in the resale direct division. My territory was Buena Park, La Habra, Cypress, and Los Alamitos, which was tough territory, but it was a great start. I got to learn. I walked in the first day. What is title? Aren't those the people that bring you donuts and calendars? Like that's what I remember it as, being a customer of theirs when I was a home builder. We've since 2008. There's been regulations where we can't treat anymore. We can't buy you a cup of coffee. We're regulated by the Department of Insurance, so where we just can do educational materials, and help with anything tied into title and escrow. So got back into First American, did that resale for a year, and then realized I should be in the home builder services division because that's where I had all my connections, and been there for almost 10 years and haven't looked back. And it's great. I'm growing there. It's a great company. Love working there. It's a Orange County staple. We have pictures. We actually have a library that has old photos from the city of Orange, city of Tuscaloosa, all the cities in Los Angeles and Orange counties. Just really, really old pictures and photos that are up on my walls. And we're just kind of the historical kind of whatever you want to call it, library of everything that's happened in the past. So
you said you touched on doing new builds. What is that like? I get questions all the time from people wanting to get into it. They kind of look at like what the inventory is like, and they see there's nothing really available, and they say, well, what about new builds? How does that look like if you're let's say I've got a client that's gonna wants to purchase a new build, they put in their deposit, all of that. What does that timeline look like? Because that's a big deal that they want to know, is how long is it going to take for this home to be built? How can I manage my expectations for how long I'm going to be before I can move into that house?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And it's interesting because the resale direct, most escrows the escrow is usually 30 days long, right? 30 to 45 days, that's standard. Whereas in the new home, in California at least, the new home escrow can be 8 months, 9 months, 12 months, 14 months. And it depends on a lot of things. It depends on supplies, depends on jurisdictional issues.
When you say supplies, you mean like actual?
Actual supplies. I mean garage doors, wood, shower doors, lumber, marble. It depends on what's available, and you're looking at building in bulk, and you're building. There could be 16 houses in a tract. There could be 350 houses in a tract. So it depends, and that's why it takes a while to build a new home. You're not building your own new home; you're having the builder do it. And the average, I think our average is somewhere around 8 to 9 months right now, but it's been as high as 14, 15. It's usually not quicker.
The supplies are a little bit scarce and low. And you need to.
But the beauty is with the new home is, one, you're the first person to own it. You're the first one in, and two, everybody talks about markets, right? Real estate markets. There's been some recessions, and the new home isn't recession proof, without a doubt. But I will say this time around, we are in a little bit of a slower market where our direct teams and our realtor friends and lender friends, especially with the high interest rates, or I shouldn't say high interest rates because it's still less than the 40-year average. That's what's crazy. We're at 7%, but that's still less than the 40-year average.
We've talked about
that. Not bad.
Yeah.
My parents was 13% when they bought their house.
Oh, I've talked to people that, purchased in the 80s, and it was, 13, 16%.
16%, nuts.
And I think that, when you compare it to what it was just a couple years ago, you can get the bands going from 2% to 7%. But like you said, historically, we're pretty average, and maybe in some cases like below average. But that's the part that is, it's hard to see when you're immediate, like when you look in the rearview mirror, you're looking at like 2.5%, 3%. But so 7%.
But that's but the beauty is the builder can control. A lot of times they have an in-house lender. So they'll be able to control and have different different kind of structured deals to where they can buy down that rate and they can change around some of the options and get you to what is more comfortable of a rate for you. So like you don't have to do that 7, you can get to 5.5, you can get to 6 because they'll
how would that look like on paper? Or if you're just a layman coming in and looking at like the advantage of getting a new build and what your rate would look like, how does a builder do that? Just if we were to kind of break it down, how does a builder do that and do a buy down on a rate?
Well, but the beauty of it, I think, and I hopefully not giving away anybody's secrets here, but it's incentives, and it's the incentive for them to be able to say, hey, maybe we're at this price point for this house. Let's say it's $850,000. Actually, that's a really good deal in Orange County. So let's say it's $1 million. Maybe where's that at? But they can say, hey, maybe we'll sacrifice a little bit on our margin, which is they're a business, right? They're running a business as well. They have efficiencies. They have to do their due diligence and figure out how expensive the school fees are, the water fees, all the different things they look at. And maybe they'll take a little bit of a hit to have lower margins to be able to make sure that they can get people in the houses. Gotcha. And the builder community is such a great community to be a part of. The home builder community in the state and in the West, across the country. It's just it's a very sophisticated group, but it's a laid back group. And just to answer your questions, they'll come up with those incentives to make sure they can capture that buyer and work directly with them to help those families get into these dream homes that they have. Nothing against resale. I've bought a resale home. I've bought a new home. I've been very lucky in my life. Very, very lucky and very blessed to be able to say I've done both. Yeah. And they're both cool in different ways, but the builders will go out of their way to make sure.
Yeah, if you had to put like a side-by-side list of advantage and disadvantage of buying a new construction home or buying like a regular piece of property.
Resale.
Like what would that look like?
Yeah, I mean, since I've done both, I can say it. I mean, gosh, there's something to be said about having something brand new car.
Right. You said, you mentioned
no one's ever been in that shower.
Yeah.
No one's ever, turned that on. It smells new. It's just, you can do anything you want with it. One of the downfalls, one of the cons, it's brand new. You don't have a yard. You just have dirt. Yeah. That's what happened to us. I knew this because I'd been in the new home, but I forgot. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to go find a landscape architect to do the plans. I have to find a landscaper to install it. I have to get that approved through the HOA. I got to get it approved through the city. Go through that whole process. So that's a con. That's a tough part. Another con is you wait. You wait. That's also a pro. So if you're looking if you need to sell your house and you're contingent on the sale of your resale house, using you to be our realtor, to sell your house, you're not in a rush. You don't need to do it. You see a house you like in the resale market, you might not sell your house in time on contingency to be able to get that new house.
Right.
Whereas a new build, man, you got all the time in the world. You can go rent, you can go move in with the parents, you can save some money or whatever. And then with new homes, it's just got updated technology. These new builds are so fantastic. They're really efficient. So you look at my parents' house, this was built in 84 or 83 versus my house that was built in 2020. Same size, but the efficiency on my house is off the charts. When you turn the air conditioning on, the house stays cold. There's the windows are rated, the Title 24 on the windows, the insulation, the garages, everything across the board is just way more efficient. It's a smarter house.
Top-notch. My first house was built in 1928. There was not a lot of efficiency there.
No, in different code, different world. My first house was 1946, so you got me by what is that, 18 years.
18 years,
yeah. But then you lose. Some people say you lose the charm of having your house that you live
that
in.
Old school feel.
I love your house. Like it's beautiful. Like having that single story, having a yard, having a wide street, having a garage that's wide enough to fit 2 cars and some other stuff. Whereas garages now are getting smaller and smaller and smaller because people aren't driving. They're literally looking at garages to be more of a flex space for a gym rather than anything else. So it's just it's just different.
It's different. Yeah. What you needed back in 1946 compared to what you need in 2020, it's a little bit different. Maybe you got a charging station.
2006 is different from 2020, right? You're right. Charging station and all that. Sorry to cut you off, but you nailed it. I got so excited. I agree.
Where do they how do you find land? Or what's that process of oh, check that out. I think we should build some homes there.
Yeah.
How do you
It's not easy. I'll tell you that. So I it's a great question. That's where I started my career, was in land acquisition. And California, we're huge, right? We're a big state. And if you drive east or you drive north to the Central Valley, there's places where you're like, dude, there's nothing going on for a while.
Man, you hit the 91 and then you got a little action and then there's nothing. And then there's some spots, but then there's nothing.
Big gap of just some mountain ranges or some hills and not a lot of flat land.
But then every once in a while you look out and then there's homes.
Yep. And that's the thing is you got to look at the zoning. You got to look at the environmental impact. There's traffic studies that have to, there's water. Water's the most important.
And does the state own majority of that?
Gosh, that's a good question. I don't know if they own most of it.
Or is it the Irvine Company?
Since they own it's the Irvine Company. The answer is the Irvine Company out here. So they own. There's a development. The biggest development's going on right now in Orange County. So let's just talk about really local. I do all of California and some of the other western states, but the ones that you would be familiar with are Rancho Mission Viejo.
Oh, which is so much construction going on out
so
there.
that ranch is, we just had a meeting with them. We're doing all the work with them. First American's doing all the work with Rancho Mission Viejo and the builders they select to build the homes that they sell the land to. And I think we have something like 10,000 homes left for the next 12 years.
Oh, wow.
So it's a huge portion now, but it's going to keep going. And it'll keep going up that Los Patrones Parkway.
Is that on the other side of the 241?
Yeah, is that the 241 or 261? This is 241.
Oh, maybe it's a 2.
Whatever the one is that goes down there.
Because
the one I live off of, it's the 241. You're right.
But it's all developed on this side of it. But if you look over, on the other side, it is just. It was green, but now it's brown.
It won't be the ocean side of 241. It's the east side, and it will go up there. So there's Rancho Mission Viejo. There's the Great Park, which is 5 Points is the developer. So Rancho Mission Viejo is the developer down there. 5 Points owns the Great Park, which is where you see the 5 Points Amphitheater, where you see the new Wild Rivers. Have you been?
I haven't been there, but I've seen it.
Take your kids. I went. It's great. I don't know if you're nostalgic about the old Wild Rivers, but I shed a tear when I wrote Bombay Blasters. I think it was
a little. Wild Rivers was a little before our time.
So much older than you.
It was. Fair. I think we went maybe once or twice.
I get it. I'm old. Sorry. I've already talked about colonoscopy already today. Jeez. You're like, what's that? I don't have to do that for another 20 years. Anyway, so the Great Park is done by 5 Points. There's still plenty of homes to be built out there. And then Irvine Company owns a lot of the stuff you see off that 241, 261. The one I'm most excited about is right at the end of Chapman, here at Chapman and Jamboree. So on the other side, it's been approved for a while. It's the city of Orange, which is really great. I think initially, and I'm going to get this wrong, it was supposed to be 22,000 homes, something ridiculous. And it went way back up.
Like Silverado Canyon?
Almost Silverado. To Irvine Lake around that, and then back up the night. But they gave that all back to the conservatory. They gave it back to the squirrels and the birds and the eagles, which is very nice and sweet of Mr. Bren. Thank you, Mr. Bren, for doing that. And now it's going to be 1,100 homes, and they're about to start clearing brush for it right now. And it's really just going to be that area, if you're familiar with Santiago Hills, where a lot of our friends grew up and went to school. The other side of Jamboree, in front of the 241 or 261 or Chapman. I guess it's still Chapman. And then the other side where Irvine Park is. So there's going to be 1,100 homes there.
Chapman splits the two, so it's going to be on both sides of it.
Both sides. There's going to be a bridge that goes over. They're going to widen Chapman. It's going to make improvements there for the bikers. Not motorcycles, but bikers. But the motorcycles will love it too because it's new pavement. But I'm excited for that.
That's an area that's been so once you hit that Albertsons nothing.
And it's been planned for years. And they were supposed to start grading in 2006. Then the Great Recession hit. Then they were holding on to it for a while. Then they were supposed to start grading again just in 2019. Now I believe they're going to sell it off to merchant builders, the builders that we know. The Irvine Company is the Irvine Development Company arm. So
two questions on that. if a buyer were interested in doing that, how do they go about getting in on those? Because that's 1,100 houses. That's not a lot.
No,
there's a lot of people that would want, especially in the Orange County area, that would want to get in on that. A, how do they get in on that? And B, a bigger question that I want to ask you about is, are the builders going to be paying commissions to real estate agents? And just to kind of, back up and ask that question as a whole, how do you feel about that, about some builders just cutting out real estate agents altogether?
So those are 3 questions. So make sure can you make sure I answer all those? Did you hear him? Okay, thank you.
I'm on it.
So the first one, how do they get on that interest? There's an interest list. So,
okay.
And Irvine Company is a great client of ours. So I think there's I'm not even talking as a First American employee. I'm talking as a person that's interested.
Yeah.
It's Orange Heights Master Plan. If you Google that, I think they have a website and you can get on that interest list there.
Okay.
They will be probably selling to builders. So just when they release that, when the builders that buy those land, those planting areas, they'll have like sign up sheets and interest lists. That's how you get on it.
Okay.
The second part, you ask, will the builders pay commissions to real estate agents?
Yeah.
I can't answer that. I don't know. They usually do. The builders usually do. But I will say, and I don't want to upset you, but the builder escrow and the builder sale is so much different from the resale.
Yeah.
The agent on the buyer's side, really, it can definitely guide and can definitely help, but it's such a builder to consumer escrow. It's such a builder because it's new. Yeah. You're not sitting and saying there's a sparkling pool with this 4-bedroom, 3-bath, and this. It's just go look at here's our menu.
Right.
This is what it is on the menu.
Pick and choose.
Yeah, pick and choose. It's like getting a Tesla, which this is the price. This is the price. You want one? Here you go. If you don't, whatever.
There's someone else lined up.
There's someone else ready to go.
That,
but that being said, if the realtor like yourself, and you're an excellent realtor that is well-rounded, and you're good at tech, you're good at information, you're obviously doing a podcast to help your clients. If there's someone that you can bring into the builder, an interested buyer, where you're helping, because it's not always a perfect world, and maybe they're not selling a lot great, and you walk in with them into the sales office, or you're with them and representing them virtually, yes, you get a commission paid.
Yeah.
There are some builders that don't do it, but they're few and far between.
Yeah, I've run into it somewhat recently where I had a client that was interested in a new build in Irvine. I took them out. Well, I mean, knowing what it was about and finding out about it, they were pretty much straight up and said, "Hey, we don't pay commissions to real estate agents."
Interesting.
And it is what it is. And it's an interesting kind of thing to have to do, because my one job is to make sure that this family gets a house. And so if this is the house that they want, then that's the house that they're going to get. And my commission be damned, it's what they want.
And then you have a customer for life. Right? Like,
yeah,
maybe you don't get that
point.
commission, but
and so for me, it's a, I brought them to this place. I literally brought them in and said, "Hey, listen, I can't help you out in this transaction. I'm here for you every step of the way if you need me." But they cut me out of this, and I have to, I'm not going to be a part of it, but I'll guide you throughout the entire thing. And again, my job is to find you a home, and if this is it, then this is it. Don't think twice about me and all the time that we've spent together. Here, this is the house for you. Then let's go ahead and do it. I went as far as to put them in touch, called the agent while I was there, and said, "Hey, my clients need a number. Let's get them a number." Maybe shoot myself a little in the foot too much, but nonetheless, it was interesting, and I hadn't dealt with that before, where they were just pretty much like, "We're not going to pay a commission."
You did the right thing, and it's just so you know. I mean, I see how many 9,000 escrows a year, something like that.
Yeah.
So that's the part of my division is we do it in bulk, right?
Yeah.
So we're doing a lot of houses at one time, and it is really, really rare to see a real estate agent not get paid some sort of commission or incentive or bonus or something from the builder for walking them in. It's different if the buyer walks in, and I think you and I have talked about this, by themselves. and they're not with their realtor or then that's different. But if you are bringing them in and you are along with them on this journey, it would be really weird. And I'm sorry that builder did that.
I don't have any. Because
it's different.
In the end, I really do understand it because for the builder, there is like such low inventory, and what they have, there's so many people that are after it that you can line up 10 people behind this one buyer, and if this person doesn't come through, the next person will, and if that person doesn't come through, the next person behind them will. It will get sold. And so, in like kind of what we talked about earlier, in the end, this is about money. This is about a builder making money. And if they can, save themselves some money on just kind of, cutting out that agent and going to the next person, then it just would, just make sense.
Yeah, but
I don't have any ill will towards it. I feel like, for me, I understand like that kind of like side of it, but and also it's kind of like, you want to have like these relationships, and especially in this business, you want to like build those relationships. So it'd be important to do that.
But you're a good dude. I mean, like you just told a really nice, endearing story, and you are going to win them for life. But that being said, it is contingent on the market as well. I mean, for sure, when the market isn't hot, and the new build, we're doing okay right now. We're like I said, resale and commercial, they're not doing great. We've stayed okay because the builders have gotten creative with their incentives and their financing to be able to get people in the houses. But when the market's dying, they're trying to find realtors. They're begging us to say, hey, talk to your realtor. But then when the market's hot and there's interest, they're like, realtors, we don't need you. Thank you for calling. But we try to stay, we get a lot of calls from our direct division, our sister division, and they'll ask us about farming and closings, and we'll get them the information we're allowed to give. There's a lot of rules and title. Again, we can't host, we can't entertain, we can only give away information that's public, so we can't give away phone numbers and stuff like that. But anything that's recorded at the county, we can give that. We can get that information. But it's a good question. I would think that a builder would want to give incentives to a realtor that's bringing in a buyer.
Tough times.
But, well, I guess. But I mean, like I've done both. I like both. I definitely love my 1946 single story in Orange that was a huge lot with a big pool and all that. But I also love my current house, which is, kind of my dream house. It was a house that I looked at. I walked the models initially in 2017. I was like, man, I hope I can do this someday. And then just everything fell into place and got, met my lovely wife, Courtney, and I now have a family of 2 boys. So now we're a family of 4. We're 6 if you count Toby and Bruin, the cat and the dog. Mm-hmm. And we're able to have this dream house. It's this beautiful house, and it's so far away. People say I live in Mexico because I live in South County in technically Foothill Ranch, Lake Forest. It's not that far.
Do you miss being neighbors? I
miss being neighbors with you. I miss seeing your boys playing out front, honking and saying hello. And I love, man, this area, this Old Town area
it's a great area.
It's
awesome. It's one of the reasons why I came back. I was gone for a long time, and coming back, it's a big difference for sure.
And like I said, hey, I'm on that waiting list for that Orange Heights. We are. It's going to take some convincing with Courtney, but
maybe we'll be neighbors.
Maybe we'll be neighbors again. He can't. Right now, another sad some residue of SB 133 and me not being able to buy things for people or host people. I also can't hold public office, so I can't be the real mayor of Orange because so it's just got to be an unofficial social mayor of Orange. I had a slogan, a campaign slogan back in 2010. My friends helped me come up with was Sean Henry, why not now? That was my slogan.
Nice.
I hope I can use it one day. I mean, I'll have to be retired from First American, which I probably will be there for the rest of my career. But once I retire, it's going to be Sean Henry for mayor.
56?
2068.
2068.
Yeah.
Why not now?
Why not now?
I'll be around still.
I'll be alive. I'll be 90. No big deal. But but I love, First American, great company. Wouldn't want to work anywhere else. We're Fortune 500 best company to work for, for the 80th millionth year in a row, and strong values, and I love, it's like sports. we haven't changed our logo since like 1950. So
yeah, if it
we
works,
have one of those iconic logos.
Everybody knows the eagle.
Yeah,
you're off the 55.
Yep,
you see that eagle.
That looking thing.
Yes,
yeah.
dude. That
It's
building
a great,
is awesome.
It is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's built in 2002, and it's got a great vibe there. It's a great campus. People love to work there. Like I said, when I have a team of 11 and my average tenure is 18 years, that's an average. I mean, I have a couple people on my team, 35 years, 36 years, 28 years. You just love working there, and you love partnering with our home builders and our escrow teams, title teams, our Department of Real Estate teams, and with the realtor friends. And it's a great gig. Nobody grows up saying, I want to be in title. You just fall into it like I did, and it's the best thing that's ever happened.
Well, you've fallen into it, and you've done well, and we really appreciate you being here. I mean, 68? That's
2068. Why not now?
Why
we should say why not then, right?
Yeah.
Why not then? But then
Why not then?
one day when we're older, we'll retape the podcast and say, why not now? And we'll send this to everybody's implants, and not to freak everybody out, but 2068. That's you vote by tapping your head. So.
We'll come back then. Until then, thank you so much for being on the show.
Yes,
this
thank
was
you very
seriously
much.
so much fun. Honored to have the lead singer of Power, Serge, on our show. And please go out to the street fair. Everybody was planning on doing it anyway, but even more of a reason to go see Power Serge on the main stage at 8 o'clock on Saturday. You'll see Sean up there. Well, no, not Sean. You'll see Sergey up there.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, check out his pants, what he's packing down there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again for being here. This was amazing. That is our show. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll be back soon for another episode.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Thank you, boys. You both are the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you.